okay, I'm just going to go to Africa. I've never been, but my heart feels like I'm going to go to Africa. And then you pick up and you go, and then you get the shock of your life. Ghana should be like the West, because it's not the West. If it was like the West, there's no need for any of us to come here. You're not expecting to live the lifestyle that you just left. You left that lifestyle for a reason, because you wanted to experience peace. And if you want to experience peace, Ghana is the place to experience peace. When things go wrong, they don't want to have to deal with it. It's annoying. So you can't just quit and say, oh, service delivery is terrible, and that's it. Okay, what's the solution? And say this, and some of you won't like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're poor, you're poor. It's up to you. There's no government assistance. There's no help. If you're poor, you're just poor. But experience it. Let the problem disturb you so that you have the vim to find a solution to. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so in today's video, I want us to address a comment that was made on one of my previous videos. So it was actually made on the video about referencing Americans having to leave Ghana and go back to the States or wherever they're from, right? And so there's a particular comment that jumped out at me. So I'm going to read it out for you. All right, so it says, Black American, after being fed a romanticized version of Africa for years, I decided to move to the motherland, lived in Ghana, Kenya, and Zambia, with numerous visits to South Africa. After 7 years in Africa, we decided to move back to the US because life in Africa in general was just too tough. Africa is not poor by no means, just terribly mismanaged by African governments. Very little of the money collected by African governments sees its way to the people due to ever-increasing corruption, infrastructure is poorly maintained, service delivery is almost non-existent, roads largely in terrible state, all while the Black elite live a life of sometimes extreme luxury surrounded by grinding poverty. No thanks. Life was far better in the US, so we returned. And as a parting shot, I came to the realization that I was definitely an American with so much more comfortable life in the US, one I no longer take for granted. I find this comment very, very interesting. There were some responses to that comment as well, which I'm going to read out afterwards. So first of all, the person says that they believe that they were fed a romanticized version of what Africa or Ghana is. And yes, I can agree with some of that to a point. The problem is that often when those of us that are talking about Ghana publicly want to give our opinions on what the real deal is like here, a lot of the time we're shot down because we're told, you know, you're painting Ghana in a negative way. We don't want to hear, you know, like it's very difficult to get, unless you're very strong, right? I'll be honest, because sitting on this side of the camera can be very difficult because you're subject to what other people are going to say about you. You know, it can affect your day. If you're not strong enough, it can affect your day. That's how deep it is. Let me just be honest with you. It's that deep sometimes. And so it's not easy for us to sometimes present things in the way that we want to present them. Sometimes we can't say all of the things on camera that we want to say. If we meet you one-on-one, maybe we can say it, but we cannot say all of the things because, for one, sometimes people just misconstrue what you say. Like I can say something here and someone will misconstrue what I've said. And so that's why we have to give 100 disclaimers when it comes to saying certain things, because some people have no reference to what Ghana is, and so they misunderstand what we're saying. And so it's very difficult to do the content that perhaps people would see as negative. And so therefore, yes, the majority of videos that you're going to see out on YouTube or wherever are going to be paint Ghana to be this amazing place. And it is. Don't get me wrong. Ghana is beautiful. I love, love, love being here. I've said it many times, right? When it comes to deciding to live in Ghana or live in the West, you choose your heart. Which one do you want? Because Ghana's not problem-free. The West, UK, whatever, is not problem-free. You just choose which battle it is that you want to pick. And so, although I do agree to some point, some measure that, you know, Ghana can be romanticized, not necessarily, because some of the things we've told you, some of the things you've seen the videos, you've seen what the roads are like, you've seen how dusty it is, you've seen some of these things, right? But for some of you, you just feel like you can come here and you haven't taken note of those things. You have decided to let those things resonate with you, the good things resonate you, and you haven't pondered enough on some of the negative things that have been spoken. Maybe they haven't gone into deep depth about, yes, the road, as I was walking down the road and then my chalewote, it broke and all of that. Maybe they haven't gone into details like that, but you could see the road. You could see the person is talking about, I'm driving, there's potholes. These are real issues, right? And so it's for you and not us who are YouTubers to do the due diligence before you go to some of these countries. Some of you should not just be packing up and leaving just like that and deciding that, okay, I'm just going to go to Africa. I've never been, but my heart feels like I'm going to go to Africa. And then you pick up and you go, and then you get the shock of your life because it's not how you had romanticized it in your head. So yes, I can understand that point, but I think that there also needs to be some balance in that, because you see what you want to see, is what I'm saying. You see what you want to see and you take action according to what you think you've seen. Now, I think it's fair that he says that he's been to lots of different African countries. I feel like that gives you a balanced view. But, you know, I've never been to South Africa. But from what I have heard of South Africa, it's almost like a type of America, right? Because it is built up, it's developed, you know, the roads are done and all of that. But South Africa will also have its own problems. So I feel like if you go to a place like South Africa and you still don't like it, then, you know, like, if you can't make it in South Africa, and South Africa is probably one of the closest countries that you're going to get to living in the West, then perhaps maybe you weren't 100% open to experiencing a completely different life, because that's what you're going to experience when you come to Africa. It's a completely different life. You can't expect to come to Africa and have a representation of where it is that you're coming from. You can't expect those social norms over there to be here. And that's the mistake that a lot of you make when you come here. You expect that, you know, you feel like there should be some of the culture that you came from here. Or maybe not even necessarily the culture, but some of the ways of life. Some things should work the same way that it works in the West. It doesn't work like that, because this is still developing. We still are trying to put things into place for it to be a certain way. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, it may never ever be like the West, because it is not the West. And we shouldn't have the expectation to believe that, you know what, Ghana should be like the West, because it's not the West. If it was like the West, there's no need for any of us to come here. When you come to Ghana, you're expecting to live a different lifestyle. You're not expecting to live the lifestyle that you just left. You left that lifestyle for a reason, because you wanted to experience peace. And if you want to experience peace, Ghana is the place to experience peace. But there's going to be some other problems. So you'll get peace, but you'll have problems. And that's the fact of it. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's how you, first of all, you have to come with an open mind and you have to understand it. But I'll give this person props, because they said they tried for 7 years. 7 years is not a short amount of time. And I feel like that's a good amount of time to really understand what the terrain here is like. And if you can make it, the fact that they went to different countries meant that they really did have a heart to seek what Africa was about. And I like that. Some people don't go that far. They try one country, they try it for 1 year, 2 years, things don't go smoothly, they have a couple of bumps and they turn back. You know, I always say to people that, listen, if you can't make it in Ghana now, where it's easy to be here, you would have never made it back then. When I came in 2014, do you know how hard it was to be in Ghana? Like, things were not in place. Even simple things like getting solar. Solar was just even a new thing. You know, there were companies out there were selling solar and they didn't know how to even set it up properly. They were just trying. We had a company at the time that when we got our first solar, that they set it up for us and they didn't tell us certain things. We were completely green about solar. We didn't know anything about solar like that, because we didn't have to have it in the UK. And so when we came here, the system was then damaged because we weren't taught to use it properly. So there's so many things. Uber, Bolt was not here. Go walk down to the main road, a 10-minute walk to the main road to go get taxi. Those were the things that made living Ghana here. At the time when we came, light off, 24 hours off, 12 hours on. We still struggled through because we knew what a greater goal was to be here. We didn't know that Ghana was going to develop this quickly, but it did, and it's still developing. And I guarantee if you come back in 5 years' time, you're going to see so many more changes than what is currently being presented right now. People are moving back with vision and investment, and they want to make the place better. They want to make it easier, and it is going to get easier, but the easier it gets, the less profit there is going to be during that time. Okay, so this person goes on to say that Africa is not poor. And damn right, Africa is not poor. Damn right. The minerals and the things that we have here, Africa is not poor by any means at all. Do not let anybody deceive you. The problem that we have in Africa is mismanagement, as the person rightly says. Funds are not being pushed in the right places. There's usually some greedy person somewhere doing something they're not supposed to do. There is a lot of unlearning that needs to be had when it comes to, government corruption and all of that. As I said in a previous video, the reason it's like that is because people have come from poverty, like hardcore poverty. So when they see money, they feel like they have to hold on to it so that they never reach those poverty levels again. And I can understand it because, hey, some of us, we've been there too. We have experienced poverty too. And when we get money, we're like, we get money, instead of investing it, we'd like keep it in our pockets. Let's just keep it here. Let's keep it in a savings account. And let's be honest, keeping money in a savings account is not the best thing to do with your money. It's better to invest it if you want a return. But we're so afraid to let go of the small money that we have because we've been poor before that we don't want to let go of it. And so now we're seeing on a larger scale when it comes to countries. You have these people who are managing countries that sometimes may have been in poverty, and so they are afraid to let this money go. They want to hold on to it like, hey, rainy day money. I ain't even putting it in the bank. I'm going to hide it underneath my bed. That's the reality of what it is here. And I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. I get it completely. Service delivery is almost non-existent. Okay, service delivery is non-existent. So what are you going to do about it? It's one thing to come to Ghana and complain about all the things, all the problems that there are. Yeah, we know, all of us, we all know that there are problems. So what are you going to do to be the solution to those problems? Because that's how you're going to clean up. That's how you're going to make your money right now, is by finding solutions to these problems. Okay, service delivery is not good. Make a service delivery for people. Make that available. Have riders that are trained in customer services, customer services, that are trained in customer service that will do the job better than what is out there in the market. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to Ghana, right, people are looking for quality of service, and they will even pay a little bit more to have that quality of service delivered because they don't want to have to go, when things go wrong, they don't want to have to deal with it. It's annoying. It's annoying. Let me tell you something that happened to me some time ago. So I ordered some food, right? And the food took so long to come. But at the beginning, we had already agreed the price that it was going to be to deliver this food. Now, the person says, because there was traffic, when they got to my house, they said, well, I know we agreed on this price, but I want to charge this instead. I said, I'm not paying that, because this is the price that we had agreed. I'm sorry that there was traffic, but this is the price that we had already agreed upon. And whether you were stuck in traffic or not, I'm assuming that when you gave me the price, you knew where you were coming from. And so you took these things into consideration, whether it was a Friday evening or whatever day it was. You know you're a Ghanaian, you know what traffic is like. This is the price you've given me. And so I'm not going to now pay double or triple the price that you originally quoted me, because this is what you quoted me for the food. I've also been inconvenienced because I've had to wait 2 hours for the food to come. And it's only just arrived now. So I'm not going to pay more. And so because of that, he was insulting me and And then he drove off, and he didn't even collect money. So the money that I was supposed to pay, he said he doesn't even want it, and he drove off. I don't want to have to deal with that. Yeah, it's frustrating for him too, but I don't want to have to deal with this. I just want to know how much it's going to cost for you to arrive here. And that is it. Okay, that sounds cool to me. This is what I'm going to pay, and that's it. First of all, the first mistake was that he came in a car. In a car, when it comes to like delivery services, the worst thing to use, especially for Ghana, is a car. Why would you come in a car? Because a car, you cannot fly over other cars. You're going to get stuck in traffic. So therefore, you need a bike. You need a rider that can go in between the cars and get to the location faster. So that was the first mistake. Do you see? So there are things like that you have to think about. But I don't want to be dealing with some angry delivery person when they come here. So I would rather use a service that I know that, this is going to be professional. The person's going to come, okay, it's going to cost me another 5, 10 cedis. But you know what? It's going to be hassle-free for me. And they're going to get here quicker than 2 hours. Do you see what I'm saying? There are businesses that you can create out of your frustration. So I feel like if you've been here a good amount of time, it's time for you not to just see these things as problems, but to find solutions to some of these things. Bring people together to work together to see how you can talk about it. If you don't have the capacity to do it by yourself, bring people in. It's an idea. We're all suffering the same thing. Your experience is not unique to you. It's to everybody. We have all seen it before. We've all had our time. Next, whose turn is it next? We've all experienced it, And so we're always trying to look for other ways to go around so we don't have to experience some of these problems. So you can't just quit and say, oh, service delivery is terrible, and that's it. Okay, what's the solution? Let's be solution orientated. If we want to get better, we have to be solution orientated. We can't just sit in the problems and wait for somebody else to come and solve the problem with us and then say, oh, they're here and they're taking over, they're doing this, we're doing that. But you saw the problem before they saw it. They've just watched you complain about it. So now they're coming to solve the problem that you couldn't solve. Why are you mad? Why are you mad? Now, another point the person makes is that the black elite are living a luxurious lifestyle. Meanwhile, there is poverty all around. And that's true. And sometimes that's very, very difficult to see. You come out of your house and your amazing house, you just finished using your AC, you jump from your house AC into your car AC, someone opens the gate for you, while you're out, someone's cooking for you, and you have all these privileges, right? And then you step out your house and there's someone begging in front of your house. How do you deal with that? I won't lie to you, like when you first come here and you see stuff like that, it's very, very hard. You feel like you want to help, and let me give you the truth of the matter. You can't help everybody. You can't help everybody, and that's the truth. And I'm even going to go one more step and say this, and some of you won't like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Some people prefer to beg than to go to work. Did you hear what I said? It's the truth. Some people prefer to beg than go to work. And I'm not saying that's everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But it's the truth of the matter. Some people, and that doesn't just happen in Africa, it happens in the West. Some people will happily beg rather than work because they feel like it's easier for them to beg because they can wake up when they want, they can go to sleep when they want. And sometimes they may make more money begging than they will in a job, so they prefer to beg, and that's how it is. For some people, that's not their preference, but that's maybe their only option. But there is a lot. There is no... the lines between, the economic lines between different classes of people are so close. The middle class of Ghana is only just now starting to grow. It's very much, especially when I came, it was very much rich, poor. Which one are you? Rich, poor. That is it. There wasn't much of a middle class. And that's the reason why a lot of housing was not aimed at towards the middle class, but the middle class is actually the class that is the biggest in Ghana. We are the biggest class, the middle class. We're neither rich nor poor, we're just sitting in the middle, and often that class of people is not catered to. Housing, it's only now Ghana is talking about affordable housing. It wasn't like that. If you wanted housing, it would be some project somewhere, some place that none of us even wants to live. So it was hard for us to make a path for ourselves when we come to Ghana because we're middle class, we're not rich. So if you're lucky enough to have family here, your family would take you in until you can kind of settle on your feet and maybe rent, somewhere to live, even though the rental places were ruined because expats had come in with their companies and were renting places for $5,000 a month. And so landlords were becoming greedy and expecting that to be the norm, but that's another video. I said it. But yeah, so there is extreme poverty in it. It takes some getting used to. Driving down the road, the people that will knock on your door as, you're in the car, even if you're in an Uber, they'll knock on your door and be begging. It's tough to see that. So I can't argue with that point. It is there, but it's because, again, wealth is not spread better in Ghana. I don't want to use the word even spread because wealth is not even spread anywhere. That's why you have different classes of people, right? But it's not trickling down. There is no support system for people when you're here. There is no, if you're poor, you're poor. It's up to you. There's no government assistance. There's no help. If you're poor, you're just poor. And that is it. And so if you're poor, unless you are lucky enough that someone sees something in you that maybe wants to help you, or you come across some lucky break or something, then you shall remain there being poor. And that's just how it is, And then this person goes on to said, as a parting shot, I realize that I am definitely an American. And I feel so sad reading that, because for me, it's like, okay, you might be an American and there's nothing wrong with if you are an American. But I just feel like you came here, you came here for a reason, right? You came here perhaps to experience what Ghana would give you, what Africa would give you, and you didn't get what you wanted, so you say you're an American. I'm going to let you read into that for yourselves. I'm not going to say too much about that. I'm just going to let you read into that. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that final line. I'm interested to hear how you would deconstruct that sentence. So let me know in the comment section what you think. But for me, I think that it's just sad that someone will come and say that. I realize that I'm definitely American. You can be American, but anyway, I'm not going to say that. But anyway, let me read to you some of the responses that were made. So the first comment said, "It's interesting that it took you 7 years to figure out you were an American. Within my first 2 weeks of travel to West Africa, I figured out very quickly. I'm so grateful that I had an experience at 19. It opened my eyes to just how privileged we are as Black Americans. After that experience, I never romanticized the continent." Someone else said, "Poverty is mostly mismanagement. And yes, most people are poor. They are sitting on an abundance of natural resources for millions of years doing nothing." And that's the truth. That really is the truth of the matter. We have so many things. Africa is rich in so many things. You can see it by the people that come to this country and steal or want our raw materials, our natural resources. They want it because they know how they're going to take it. Let's go back to using chocolate, cocoa. How many cocoa farms do we have here? People are producing cocoa and they're paid a small amount of money. And these people are coming, they're taking these resources, they're refining them, and they're packaging them and reselling them for more than what these farmers are actually growing the money for. They are using what they have seen, turning it into something that actually gives real wealth, real money. And we, after all these years, we still don't have it. We still are sitting with golden tree chocolate. If you don't know golden tree chocolate, it's the original chocolate that it's one of the more popular chocolates in Ghana, right? And everybody knows it. It can be out in the sun, it never melts. It never melts. I don't know how, but anyway. But I mean, there are other chocolatiers coming up now, but still, we're still not doing on this large scale where we're selling internationally and bringing that money back into Africa. It's still not like that. We are still being used for some of the raw materials that we have, and it's so sad that we haven't found a way to take advantage of it. And some of it, again, is people's mismanaging. It's still corruption. It's still so many issues that are bigger than what we even know because we're not in those fields. So some of the things that are going on those industries that prevent people from being able to take an idea and really running with it, we don't even know of because we're not in those industries to be able to see it. And some of these people will not talk about it for fear of whatever. They just won't talk about it. Now, I want to quickly touch on this, but I'm going to make a separate video because I feel like this needs to be addressed. So I'm going to read this comment very quickly. "Ghanaians who move to the West and struggle wouldn't dare blame the Western country they moved to. Why is it Ghana's fault when people from the West move to Ghana and struggle?" I absolutely love that comment. And honestly speaking, it's something that I have wanted to address for a while, and I am going to address in a separate video. Oftentimes, people come here and they will blame the government. They will blame the systems in Ghana for not being able to live up to some of the things that they have expected when they move here. But when we Ghanaians go to the West, how often do you hear a Ghanaian say, "Oh, the America doesn't do this or doesn't do that"? Like, why is there not equal balance in that? There's a whole lot I want to uncover there, but I'm not going to say too much about that right now because I feel like it deserves its own dedicated video, and I have some strong opinions on that, let's just say. Some of the comments that came after that, I'm just going to read them out here just for the fun of it. Okay, someone after that comment said, "Exactly, they're blaming Ghana for bad financial planning after going through their stimulus checks." I think that's a bit harsh, but okay. And then somebody came back and said, do Americans charge people from Ghana double when they are in the US? Some of these things, I know they're like throwing a bit of shade, right? There's a little bit of shade going on, but some of these are valid points. If we can get past the emotions that we feel when some people comment and say certain things, sometimes there is actually things to learn within those comments. And so it's good that you open yourself up to actually hear what people are saying, right? So the person says, do Americans charge people from Ghana double when they are in the US? That's true. When you go to the States, everything is labeled with a price. Everybody pays the same price. There's no, like, you go into the shop, there's no negotiating. The price is the price. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. You move on. You go find, see if you can find it somewhere cheaper. Whereas in Ghana, like, it's based on your accent. If you look like you can afford it, how well you negotiate. It's a lot of things are based on your outside look, how you present yourself. And so, yes, in that case, I will agree that, yes, it's not fair. Someone said, this is proper shade. Someone said professional victims. I think that's a little harsh, but it's funny. Come on now. It's a funny comment, professional victims. But I don't think that's a fair comment, though, because I don't think that, I wouldn't say majority of the people come with an attitude of trying to be victims. I think it's more of a culture shock than anything else, because let's be honest, the West and being in Ghana or Africa are worlds apart. It's very much going to be a culture shock. And a lot of people that moved from Ghana and went to the States or whatever also had a culture shock. But I feel like, so this is one of the things I'm going to touch on. I feel like when they went to the States, they were prepared for the hustle. They weren't going necessarily to try and live an amazing life, right? They weren't trying to find themselves, discover themselves. They knew what the assignment was, and that's what they were going to execute. So there are different visions when it comes to these things, but I won't touch on that too much. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that for now. So it's interesting how people will view. It's interesting how people will view what it's like to come here. Definitely, if you're going to come to Ghana, do not romanticize what it's all about. Give yourself time. Anything here takes time to be able to really settle and fit in. So I feel like if you're coming here and you're giving yourself 2 years to settle in, it's not enough time to really understand the real Ghana, the intricacies of it, and really build your tribe, your community. It's not enough time. I would say you have to give yourself minimum 5 years. 5 years minimum, and even that, I would say 10 years for you to really understand Ghana and really say, okay, I gave Ghana a good shot. You need 10 years. Listen, I know that sounds like a long time. 10 years is not a long time, honestly, because so many things are going to happen to you within that time, things that you're going to have to learn, things that you're going to have to experience. And that's another thing. Don't come to Ghana and think that, I don't want to experience what it's like for this to happen, that's happened. Sometimes you have to go through that experience to have your own perspective on it and to really understand what it's like. Because yes, you can listen to someone else's experience and say, they will tell you that, okay, this is what I experienced, but it's not your experience. And you are going to digest that experience in a different way to what the other person to the way the other person digested it. So it's good to come and experience certain things for yourself. It's good to experience the light off, what it's like to lie in bed and sweat and not know when the light is coming back. Yes, you probably have heard what it's like, but experience it. Let the problem disturb you so that you have the vim to find a solution to what that is like. Those are where the ideas are birthed. It's not birthed from reading it or hearing it about someone else. It's experiencing it for yourself. And then that will push you into a corner where you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do because I do not want this to happen to me again. Now you're backed into a corner. Now your best ideas are going to come forth. And that's how it works. It's not necessarily from hearing about it. It's not about me hearing that, delivery is really bad in Ghana. This is the solution that I'm going to come up with. No, let me experience it. Let me be hungry and wait 2 hours for my food and let me know that next time, how am I going to problem solve this so that doesn't happen to me again? That's how ideas are birthed. It's being uncomfortable. But if you want to sit somewhere and be comfortable and expect that you're going to get all your amazing ideas, it's not going to happen like that. come and build a house here and see the frustrations. You've seen me sweat and be like, oh my gosh, this is too much, because I have experienced it. You watching, yes, you will get some ideas and you can dodge certain things from watching, the progress of me trying to build my house. But until you come here and you experience it, you won't understand the full capacity of what it's like. So come and experience some of those things like the rest of us, and then you'll know how to build your business around it. But anyway, that's what I'm going to say. Keep those comments coming. Let me know about what you think I've said in the video. Does it make sense to you? Does it not make sense? Do you agree? Do you not agree? What do you think about, what are your opinions on the comment that I read out at the beginning? Let me know your thoughts, and that's the end of today's video. So if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I would love it if you would do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment, and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Nutifafa.